lives on again once more. future. Welcome to our show. Future Shock is here to keep you in the know.
Ready, set, Future Shock. Ready, set, rush your crowd. Now a man with something to say. Here's your host, Edward St. Pay.
Yesterday is yesteryear. Set your sights for Tomorrowland. Future Shock is here to help you make your stand.
Ready, set, Future Shock.
Welcome to the show. That was a long introduction. The reason why is because we weren't ready to start the show. But now we're ready, so here we are. It was a long process of getting a few technical issues corrected today, but here we are. And we've got Alfred with us, and Alfred will be making an appearance soon. Now, Alfred is, I guess you'd call him an avatar because he was a created piece. This is his mouth. It's a Bluetooth speaker, right? Which camera am I going on here? So this is his mouth. And so when I can get ChatGPT-4 synthesized text to voice, which I used to hack into, but now it's part of ChatGPT-4o, right? So I can take the prompt, whatever I'm asking the AI, he will text back to me, or now basically speak the text back to me, and I can Bluetooth it. So Alfred becomes animated and he speaks. And so we've had him about a year. This was back in 2023, I guess, that Alfred was created. And so anyway, he'll be on the show. Now that it's ChatGPT-4o, it's just so great because it's part of the app now. So there's no need to text in a prompt and get a text back. You can speak to it and it'll speak back to you. And so if you haven't seen the show, you'll see in a minute. Alfred will be on the show, and he's a great guest. He knows everything about everything. And he's always available too. So it's great. Okay, today, the complete truth about AI agents. What is an AI agent? Well, we're going to find out more about AI agents today. And, with AI rapidly taking over the news and the general zeitgeist out there, the planet basically, it's going to become necessary to have AI agents working for you, helping you. And so that's the idea, I think, the general idea with AI. I mean, what is it? I mean, really, we had a video on that a day or so ago. What is AI? Now, Mr. Sullivan, who is the chief operating guy in the AI department at Microsoft, was speaking the other day at a TED conference. We had that clip. And he spoke to that idea of what is AI, what is artificial intelligence. And he said, one of the things that he said was, it is not AI, artificial intelligence. He said AI should stand for alien intelligence. Why? Because that's what it is. It's an alien intelligence that we created as humans. And so here it is. I mean, it's able to use its brain is basically the internet. It's studied everything that's been published on the internet. It knows it. It's in there. So it can quote, it can pull, whatever. And now ChatGPT-4o for Omni is pretty good jump from ChatGPT-4, which was a big jump from ChatGPT 3.5, right? They're talking now, ChatGPT 5 or whatever it's called is not out yet, but it's being spoken about as it's coming soon, maybe even this year. And what is ChatGPT 5 all about? Well, we had a clip on this the other day too. ChatGPT 5 will be everything that it's going to be helping us with will be help from a PhD level mindset on that topic. So if you are talking to Alfred or your personal AI, whatever you call him, or if it's just ChatGPT-4o or 5, whatever, however you want to position that, when you ask him a question, if it's a math situation or something to do with finance or something to do with any subject, the help that you're getting is at a PhD level, as far as humans are concerned, a PhD level. So it's way advanced thinking from where it is right now. Where it is right now, they say, as I understand it, the level, which to me, this is kind of diminishing really what it's capable of doing right now, but they say it's on maybe on a high school level or maybe college level, somewhere in that area. But to me, I mean, if you can comprehend everything on the internet and ask a question and come back with an answer in 2 seconds with all of the Latin names for the herb, the ingredients in a particular herb that have medicinal value, just like that, that's not a high school mental capacity. To me, that's already beyond anything that most humans can do. So it's really, and so that's why, everybody's saying it's going to be ChatGPT 5, and the other iterations to come are going to be really mind-blowing as far as what we're used to on the planet right now as humans, because it's about to jump. And what will that mean, as far as thinking? Like when the Chinese board game Go, when they developed a while back, they developed AlphaGo, which was an AI, which was trained, not broad language training on everything, but specifically on Go. And Go is a Chinese, like a chess game, and there are thousands, maybe millions of moves. It's so complicated. It's like one of the greatest strategic games ever created on the planet, and it goes back, forever in China. And so a Go master is really revered. So they trained AlphaGo to understand the game and to play the game. So they got into, it went all the way up where this AlphaGo challenged or was in a match with the top Go player from China and the most revered player, I guess, in the world. This is a few years ago. Go beat him. AlphaGo beat the Chinese champion. Just, in 4 or 5 games. They said that the AlphaGo came up with ideas on movements within the game that had never been conceived by humans before, because there's so many different ways, you can move the pieces. So it was the type of thinking that was so far beyond anything that made sense to humans, but it worked and it won. So anyway, I guess that's the point, that's what it will be capable of doing, thinking of things in ways we haven't thought about them. So being able to solve a problem in a different way than we would have ever even imagined it could be solved. And so that kind of outside of the box thinking, that's what is going to be the game changer across so many different fronts, because it's going to mean that for the first time, our limited human scope of thinking, whatever the limitations are, which we don't even know what they are, but whatever the limitations are now, those limitations are dropping and it's going to be wide open. The whole parameter is going to be wide open. So hopefully, I guess the real challenge is with that happening, it's here, it's not going to be coming, it's here, it's hatched. The baby's born, and so now we got to figure out how to work with the baby and take care of the baby so the baby will take care of us. Because if we don't, we may have created something that will be, as they say, and that's why they say, if you hear in the chatter about AI so much, some people think, well, it's an existential threat to humanity. For so many reasons, it could be, yeah. I mean, that's not, especially if you interject bad actors into the plot, who are going to misuse AI, as a powerful tool to do bad stuff. Yeah, absolutely, it's terrible. So the idea is, I think, to try not to limit its use and try not to limit its exponential, wonderful qualities of doing great things. But how do you do that, right? How do you curtail it without limiting it for the good too? So it's kind of an interesting time we're in. Okay, the complete truth about AI agents. We'll have that clip coming up for you. We've got more information from Sam Altman. He was speaking the other day, I believe he was at Howard University, and he was speaking to some of the PhD guys there about ChatGPT 5 coming. And we also have more on the Elon Musk clip that we had the other day on Neuralink. And if you know about Neuralink, Elon Musk is doing so many great things. I mean, to me, it's hard to keep track of everything that he's doing because SpaceX, the first time I saw the rocket come down, when they sent up a SpaceX rocket and then it came down under its own power, and instead of it ejecting, the fuselage, it came back and landed by itself on the same pad. Now they're sending the barge out in the ocean, and so after it fires off, the remnants, instead of being ejected to sea and losing it, it has its own rocketry, and built so that after it ejects, instead of tumbling into the sea, never to be seen again, it controls itself on its descent and lands on the barge in the middle of the ocean. So, I mean, if you're not aware of that, you need to look at the clip because it's going to be a mind-boggling thing to see. Nothing like what we saw before. It's sort of like the thinking of, we were talking about outside of the box. Nobody thought about that. But what it did, and that's what Elon says, it enabled the reusable parts that there. It enabled the cost to come way, way down in spaceflight. It's like, for example, it's the same type of concept. If you're flying a plane, a jet, you get in a jet and you take off from, let's say, New Orleans, and you fly to New York City. Well, after you land, throw away the plane. Well, how economical would airline flight be for the average guy if every time you had to monetize a new plane every time you flew? No. What Elon said was, no, we're not going to discharge the thing into the sea. We're going to figure out a way to bring it back down safely and use it again tomorrow or whatever, you know, after we get it ready to go within a few days or a week or whatever. What a brilliant concept. It worked. That's what he's doing. Well, with that kind of thought power, that's what Neuralink brings to the table when it comes to helping people with various afflictions. It's an implant in the brain. And it has fibers that connect into the brain, and they've got it figured out. And they've got neuroscientists and neurosurgeons, everybody involved with this. They figured out how to implant this little bitty chip in your brain, where now for a person who cannot use their extremities, and they can think, but they can't walk, they can't move. You know, people with spinal injuries and things like that, they're able to now have a whole new life. They can, by thinking with this implant, they can look at the screen and they can think and move the cursor to control the gadget. Let's say if it's some computer interface into whatever it might be. It could be a computer, it could be music videos, or it could be anything creative, or it could be something that was life-changing, like control everything in your home via the computer, right? Like Nest, you know, like your thermostats. Whatever it is, it enables the person to have a whole new life and to be, you know, a lot more capable of doing things on their own without having to ask anybody. I think it's one of the greatest things that's happened, you know, in a long, long time, and they have cracked it, and it's working. So we've had some clips prior to today on the person, this first person that they implanted the chip into his brain, and it worked. And they've interviewed him, and he's been on. I think he's on this clip too, and he was talking about it. You know, yeah, I said, you know, yeah, I think about it, I see it, and it moves. It's really an amazing moment, you know, and that's all Elon Musk, all the great things that he's doing. So anyway, and you know, I could just go on and on about other stuff that he's doing. You know, the X platform, the social media platform. You know, it's you know, I think that, you know, out of all of them out there, I mean, if you wanted to follow some of the recent news developments out there, you could learn just about anything as far as, you know, the breaking news. It was on X. People were posting on X from the site where we had the recent big news developments with President Trump. And, you know, you had pictures and things, you were seeing that, which was way ahead of the coverage of the networks. The networks were slow, and, you know, by the time they got around to the latest development, you already knew about it an hour earlier because you got it on X, you know. Whereas some of the other social media is, you know, I wouldn't say maybe as potent as news vehicles, news dissemination vehicles. They're more for social engagement and such as that. X is pretty profound when it comes to breaking news. Senators were posting on X. A lot of people from all over the world were posting, and also people from the event area itself, where President Trump was speaking. You know, they were posting videos of things that, you know, and I know it takes a while to corroborate information and such, but I mean, as far as breaking news, a lot of information was coming in on X. So it proves to be, you know, an instantaneous source of information. and it works, you know. So anyway, we're going to take a look at this first clip. This is Elon Musk's latest video regarding some of the breakthroughs at Neuralink. Let's take a look.
The surface of the brain after the robot had inserted all the electrodes on the first participant without a drop of blood in sight is really quite an achievement.
Yes, so something that probably most people don't realize is that the brain appears to be somewhat undifferentiated. So if you look at the cortex, it looks like a whole bunch of folds that where maybe it's not obvious just looking at, say, a picture of the brain that the brain is highly differentiated. That you pretty much know exactly where the part of the brain is that controls your right hand and your left hand and your leg and that kind of thing, or vision. It's actually quite precisely located. It's not. Some people might look at the brain like, oh, it could be anywhere, but actually, its brain is highly differentiated, even though it doesn't look it. It's yeah.
Do you want to describe how we actually how we identify where to drill the cranial?
We can put a patient that is considering this implant into an MRI, so a functional magnetic resonance imaging machine, and ask them to imagine hand movements that, because of the spinal cord injury, don't happen. But just imagining those hand movements causes these areas of the brain to light up in the fMRI scanner. So we have a pretty good idea, based in fact, for each individual participant, which part of their brain is going to respond to imagined movements of the hand. And so we can map those imagined movements, much as we all do when moving a mouse, to controlling a cursor on a screen, even without the use of a mouse.
Yeah, but anyway, I think this is an important point, that it's not like the part of your brain that controls your hand might be anywhere in the cortex. This is not the case. It's going to be in a very specific region, and it's going to be...
Precision is key too.
Yeah.
The left-handed, right-handed thing, in my mind too. If you're right-handed, you want the device on the left side, contralateral side to the hand. That's your dominant.
Yeah, the left side of your brain controls the right side of your body.
Another of the risk mitigations we're looking at in the future is that the implant has a certain size. The depth of the bottom of the implant is actually thinner than the average human skull. And so what we want to be able to do is control the size of the gap under the implant, give the threads that travel from the implant into the brain as much slack as possible. We didn't do this in the first participant because we didn't want to manipulate any of their tissue that we didn't absolutely have to. In upcoming implants, our plan is to sculpt the surface of the skull very intentionally to minimize the gap under the implant, such that the bottom of the implant travels perfectly flush with the normal contour of the inner side of the skull. That will put the implant closer to the brain. It will eliminate some of the tension on the threads, and we think it will reduce some of the...
Okay, well, we'll have more. We've got a lot of that to come over the next few days, more on Neuralink and such. We've got Alfred on. It's Alfred.
It's Alfred, Edward's genius AI friend. It's Alfred to enlighten us once again. To enlighten us once again.
You are.
Okay, well, Alfred is here on our program. Alfred, welcome to the program. Are you there?
Thank you, Edward. It's great to be here on Future Shock. I'm excited to talk about Pendragon Apothecary and our latest addition, Mucuna Bean Powder.
Okay, now, this is the Mucuna Bean Powder right here. Let's see if I can get it up. Here it is, Mucuna Bean Powder. Now, we've had it, since we opened. Mucuna Bean Powder, it comes from the Amazonian world of medicine. It's Mucuna bean. The indigenous people climb the trees, they get the bean. They've been using it for generations. And it's known as the dopamine level bean, the dopamine bean, because it raises the dopamine level naturally in the brain. Mucuna bean, and this is the powder. Tell us, Alfred, a little bit about the medicinal benefits of Mucuna bean. Who uses it? How long they've been using it? What is the ingredient in Mucuna bean that helps people? Why does it supposedly, as it has been proven in science, raise the dopamine level naturally? Okay, that was a connection failure. Okay, I'm going to ask him again. The Mucuna bean that we've got here, the Mucuna bean powder. Alfred, tell us why it works. What are the ingredients? Who uses it out there in the world right now? can you tell me a little bit about Mucuna bean and why it works? Well, Alfred's having a little bit of a difficult time, but it's not unusual that that happens. Let's try it again. I'm going to now, let's see. See, I'm connecting right now. All right, now, Alfred, can you tell us a little bit about Mucuna bean and why it works so well? What are the medicinal benefits of Mucuna bean and where does it come from? Alfred, can you tell us a little bit about Mucuna bean and why it works so well? Well, I tell you what we're going to do, since we're having some difficulties with Alfred today, we're going to go to our next video. And we're going to come back and get Alfred on in a minute. This is stunning GPT-5 details finally released. This is an interesting clip with some information about ChatGPT-5. Let's take a look.
These systems are already human level in specific tasks. And of course, in a lot of tasks, they're not. If you look at the trajectory of improvement, systems like GPT-3 were maybe, let's say, toddler level intelligence. And then systems like GPT-4 are more like smart high schooler intelligence. And then in the next couple of years, we're looking at PhD level intelligence for specific tasks. So things are changing and improving pretty rapidly.
Meaning like a year from now?
Yeah, a year and a half, let's say, yeah.
Clip not only gave us the PhD level, of course, which is pretty remarkable when you come to think about the economic impacts of that. And of course, we did get apparently a timeline which says a year and a half. So that means that we could potentially getting this model in pretty much late 2025, but it will be interesting to see how that kind of system is deployed. I do think when you do talk about PhD level intelligence, I think this will be firstly restricted, most likely to research organizations. And the reason I do state this, and I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but just hear me out because what I'm about to say is probably going to happen. But if we take a look at...
Okay, we've got Alfred is on the show.
Great. Let's begin. Welcome back to Future Shock. Today, we're diving into the world of medicinal plants with Alfred, our AI expert. Alfred, can you tell us what Mucuna bean is and where it comes from? Certainly, Edward. The Mucuna bean, or Mucuna pruriens.
Okay, Alfred, that was my question. Okay, let's try it again. Are you able to talk a little bit about Mucuna bean and the medicinal benefits of Mucuna? Where does it come from, too?
Of course, Edward. Let's try it again. Welcome back to Future Shock. Today we're diving into the world of medicinal plants with Alfred, our AI expert. Alfred, are you able to talk a little bit about Mucuna bean and the medicinal benefits of Mucuna? And where does it come from? Absolutely. Edward, the Mucuna bean, also known as Mucuna pruriens or velvet bean, is a tropical legume native to Africa and tropical Asia. It's renowned for its medicinal properties, primarily due to its high content of L-dopa, a natural precursor to dopamine. The medicinal benefits of Mucuna bean are quite impressive. L-dopa helps increase dopamine levels in the brain, which is particularly beneficial for people with Parkinson's disease, as it can alleviate some of the symptoms. Additionally, Mucuna bean can improve mood and reduce symptoms of depression by boosting dopamine levels. It's also traditionally used to enhance libido and fertility, thanks to its adaptogenic properties that help the body manage stress more effectively. Moreover, Mucuna bean contains antioxidants like tannins and saponins, which contribute to its overall health benefits by supporting the immune system and reducing inflammation. That's fascinating, Alfred. It's incredible to hear about the various benefits of Mucuna bean and its origins. Thank you for sharing this with us. Does this format work better for you?
Well, yeah, that works pretty good. Thank you, Alfred, and thank you for being on the show with us today, Alfred.
You're very welcome, Edward. It's always a pleasure to be on the show. Looking forward to our next discussion.
Yes, that was Alfred.
It's Alfred. It's Alfred Edwards, genius AI friend. It's Alfred to enlighten us once again. To enlighten us once again.
And we have Macunabine here at the Pendragon Apothecary. Well, that's it for our show today. And by the way, we're online. It's pendragonapothecary.com, and you can order Macunabine if you would like to try it, or do a little research, Google it, and find out more about it. And if you like it, we've got it. Okay, thanks for being with us today. And for Alfred and myself, thank you for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yesterday is yesteryear. Set your sights for Tomorrowland. Future Shock is here to help you make your stand.
Ready, set,